Hello, my students. As you can see, this is going to be a video to help you correct this past paper that you are working on. So please take out the past paper with the stomach on the front. Get a different colored pen that you didn't do the test with, marker, highlighter, whatever, as long as it's a different color. Now, I'm just going to highlight certain questions that I think need a little bit more explanation. After this video, you will get the mark scheme, which is attached to this assignment on Google Classroom, and then you will finish correcting the other questions that I think you can do without much guidance from me. So let's begin. I think this is a pretty straightforward question. So let's look at 2A. You must use certain words in order to get the answer correct. So please make sure you use the idea of colliding with the bottle or the walls or bouncing off the bottle or the walls of the bottle. Make sure you include the word like colliding or hitting or bouncing, and make sure you include the bottle, the container, the wall, something. Again, it's 1 mark, but you need to actually have those things, both of those things, to get 1 mark. Moving on. This is a question about sound waves. I will attach a BBC bite-sized information link about frequency, amplitude, and pitch so that you can better understand it. The higher frequency, the sound waves have a higher pitch, so frequency and pitch are related. Lower frequency have a lower pitch, makes sense. Higher amplitudes have louder sounds. Lower amplitudes have quieter sounds. And when we look at this, this is what a lower pitch, low amplitude wave looks like. Higher pitch, high frequency, right? Lower pitch, low frequency, higher pitch, high frequency, low amplitude, high amplitude. This is what you need to understand this question. So we need to put decrease, increase, and stays the same when we're going this way. So when we look at pitch like this and higher pitches like that, so we know that obviously the pitch is decreasing. Next one, frequency. Well, we know that frequency and pitch are related, so that too is going to be decrease. So we have decrease, decrease, and the volume. Well, what did we learn about volume? We learned that it's going to be louder with a higher wave. So therefore, we can see that it will, the answer for volume is it stays the same. If you were to basically draw a line in the middle of all of these, you would most likely see, even though it's quite probably hard in this diagram, that the space from the baseline up is rather similar, even though they're stretched out. So that means that the volume is going to stay the same. And because amplitude and volume are related, that will stay the same too. So pitch and frequency will decrease, and volume and amplitude will increase. Next question. Now this might be a little tricky. So you need to think about arthropods, mollusks, the different things. We know it's an arthropod. So what characteristics would it be that you need to be an arthropod? And the first answer could be like, does it have 6 legs, 3 pairs, does it have 3 body sections? Because you need to be able to have a yes and a no, because centipedes and millipedes, so that would mean you need to know the characteristics of both of those things. We know that these are myriapods with a lot of legs. They look like worms with a lot of legs. And bees and ants. So the first thing we have is about the body type. The second thing would be about, does the animal have wings, right? Bees do, ants don't. And the third one would be about the pair of legs per segment. And we know that centipedes are going to have pairs of legs, or one pair of legs per segment. So then you don't really need to know about millipedes. You just need to know the yes for centipedes, and then the millipede would be the opposite of that. So this question is about myriapods and leg segments. Now, I'll give one feature that separates a spider from the four other arthropods, which are the four on your screen: bee, ant, centipede, millipede. And thinking back to what you know, they have more legs, and they have two body parts instead of three body sections. The next question. Universal indicator is going to have yellow, orange, red tint when it is an acid. Don't write acid. You need to write 3 to 6. You need to be specific. We were talking about descriptions and adaptations by animals. You need to read all of the directions given by Cambridge. They're not going to give you something that you don't need to know. So we've never seen this fish before, but this fish is adapted to live in the very deep water with very little light. So how would we know, or how could we know an adaptation to live where there's very little light? What do you need when there's no light? You need bigger eyes. So it has bigger eyes. And then suggest what color the fish would need to be a successful predator. Well, it said dark. So a dark colored fish, like black, would make it a good predator. And then describe other two adaptations that would make it move fast. Well, it definitely has a streamlined body, so there's not much for wind resistance or anything like that. And furthermore, it has a powerful jaw. It also has a muscular body that would help it. Now moving on. Don't get concerned by this question. She added 6 plus 6 and got her answer. So you find this, you add 21 plus 75, you get 96, and that's your answer. I think the rest of these, this one just needs to be a little bit more than the one you stated. So this one says about 24 meters. Because you know it's going to be more than the one they gave you, which was 112. Now, this I think you can do. Double, decrease, goes down, double means it increases twice or it increases double. Half means it's cut by 50%. More than double means it increases by more than double. And more than half, or more than halves, then it is something more than a half. Now, moving on. With this question, we were talking about variables. So she wants to react different metals with hydrochloric acid. So which one is the independent? Which variable is she changing? That's the independent variable. Metals means metals used, A. Which letter shows the 3 variables she will keep the same? Again, we can only change the independent variable. So A changes. But if A changes, then that means the volume of the hydrochloric acid needs to stay the same. The concentration of the hydrochloric acid also needs to stay the same. And the temperature of the room. If it's not the same, of course, it would affect how things would react. But D would not be an answer because the time is what we are measuring. So that is actually the dependent variable, which is the next question. So that is D. I think the rest of the questions about the space and the planets are pretty self-explanatory. So I will be posting the next mark scheme shortly.